Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.
Hello, I'm Lori Steiner. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, AARP is arming veterans with help. We'll explain. Then, a sweet tooth could play tricks on your teeth. We'll treat you to important advice. You keep making a detour when trying to talk to your parents about their driving. We'll help you get it in gear. Plus, as you get older, are you overlooking essential nutrients? We have vital information about vitamins. And we'll spell out common mistakes made when naming your IRA beneficiaries.
It's time to get geoing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. Caregivers and their families know the stresses involved with providing help to a loved one, and now Ohio has a law that supports them in their role. Doug Tayek is here to lay down the law for us. Doug is the Associate State Director for AARP in Ohio. Something that helps caregivers?
It does, yes.
We are all for that. And there's so many caregivers in Ohio, they really do need help.
That's right. There's 1.4 million caregivers here in Ohio. And if you take all the effort that they put together, they contribute at 1.4 billion hours, that's billion with a B, in unpaid family care. And if you take that and quantify it, say by $12 an hour, that's providing almost $16.5 billion in economic value to the state of Ohio through free uncompensated medical care. So AARP, as you said, we are committed to making this very difficult job of a caregiver a little easier. And this is where the Ohio Caregiving Act plays a role.
So what is the law exactly?
Right. So the Ohio Caregiving Act, as I said, it helps family caregivers manage the issues and the circumstances of their loved ones who are in the hospital, and it helps them as they transition home. And so basically it provides some common sense solutions that help make their lives easier as caregivers and as well as for the patient. And so this is why we worked with Ohio lawmakers to enact the law. And basically it recognizes the critical care that Ohio family caregivers provide in the care of their loved ones.
And time and money. So how does the new law help caregivers?
Right. So it touches on three very important pieces of the continuum of care. I can never say that. And the first is identification. So the hospital works with each patient to identify who their caregiver of choice is, and that caregiver is then placed in the patient's medical record so they can have access to information on the patient's situation, circumstances, and it doesn't violate HIPAA. The second is notification. So a family caregiver is notified each time the patient is moved to a different unit within the hospital or is discharged to go home. The hospital has to notify the caregiver that move is taking place. And the third is training, and this is where the patient going home, this is the really important piece where the facility, the hospital, must provide training to the caregiver on any medical device that the patient is going home with, any medication that they receive, so that the caregiver can then provide a solid continuum of care for the patient once they are discharged from the hospital. And the idea then is hopefully they will not be readmitted and that their care improves and that they improve.
Right. So those sound like such important things. They weren't happening before?
No, they were not, which is unfortunate, but it's the reality. So just as an example, in 2014, 60% of all care recipients in Ohio did not have an in-home visit by a healthcare professional once they're discharged from the hospital. And almost half of family caregivers, about 46%, reported providing some sort of clinical care for their loved one, whether that was providing basic sort of menial tasks to actually helping with IVs and giving medication. And so about 78% reported having to do some sort of work around administering IV fluids or injections, and doing things that really a healthcare professional would do in a clinical setting. So this is where the bill, we believe, really helps sort of arm the caregivers with the knowledge and the information necessary to provide those tasks in a safe and an informed way.
The law has got to help a lot. It just makes sense.
Right, and again, it's we recognize that caregiving is a labor of love. Each of us have been a caregiver at some point for somebody that we know and whose life we cherish. But we also recognize that it can be a very stressful and overwhelming task. And so the job of the legislation is to provide sort of common sense solutions to help, and that's what the Ohio Caregiving Act does. And so that's why we've worked with the state legislature to make this a reality in Ohio.
And you've got wallet cards for people to be able to access.
These are, if you go to action.aarp.org/OH-caregiving or call 1-877-333-5885, you will be able to download or receive one of these wallet cards, which provides very important information and anything that we talked about, so that when you go to the hospital with your loved one or your loved one is discharged, you understand your rights and responsibilities that are guaranteed you by Ohio law in the facility. And so then you can use that to then start the conversation with the hospital and say, this is, I'm the caregiver,
right.
This is who the patient has said wants to be their caregiver, and these are the rights and responsibilities that we have.
All right.
And able to take action and help your loved one, which is the most important part.
Absolutely, yeah. I've got my card.
And that's, as do I, and that's great to hear. So
right.
We hope everybody else does too.
Yeah, they got to get it.
Right.
The Ohio Caregiving Act provides critical information and instruction for the tireless caregivers helping their loved ones. My thanks to AARP for their efforts in making this law a reality. And my thanks to Doug for joining us today to share this important news.
For more information, call AARP Ohio at 866-389-5653 or log on to www.aarp.org/Ohio. Next, we won't sugarcoat it. But first, before serving on the Supreme Court, Thurgood Marshall argued before the court, 32 civil rights cases in all. Can you render a decision as to how many of those he won? We'll verify the verdict when we return.
Right now, the trusted experts of University Hospital's Seidman Cancer Center and the most advanced cancer-fighting technologies are in 17 community locations. That's leading-edge care, where you're most comfortable. That's UH Seidman Cancer Center. Right now, proton therapy, a revolutionary treatment for many types of cancer, is available for the first time in Ohio, and only at University Hospital's Seidman Cancer Center. That's the future of cancer care. That's UH Seidman Cancer Center.
As lawyer for the NAACP, Thurgood Marshall won 29 of the 32 civil rights cases he presented in front of the Supreme Court, demonstrating that he was supremely qualified to later join the court in 1967.
Sweet treats are so tasty to eat, but eating sugar today can show up as teeth troubles tomorrow. Dentist Steve Marsh is here with tricks to help you enjoy your treats, as well as treatment for when those treats have taken a toll. Phew!
Thanks, Laura.
So
Laura,
welcome to the show.
I missed the memo on wearing the orange for Halloween, but
you got the candy, though.
I got the candy.
All right. So, is it really a no-go for candy?
So we all like to have something sweet, including myself. The key thing is within the first 20 to 30 minutes that you get the debris cleaned off your teeth. We always talk in dentistry about you have food, bacteria feeds off the food. We always have bacteria in our mouth. When it breaks it down, it produces an acid, and that acid attacks the tooth, and that's how we get decay. Okay. I liken it to in a car, if you have a car that's salty in the winter, it can get rust unless you get that cleaned off. So it's very important that first 20 to 30 minutes, take a toothbrush. Here's a Sonicare that's great for adults, especially as we get older. It does a lot of the work for you. And if you're not an adult and you're a kid and you just came back for trick-or-treating, nothing like the spin brush. This is a Shimmer and Shine one. My grandkids like that show. So either one is good, and you really have to get that debris off right away.
How about water, though, or like our natural saliva? Does that help?
So if you don't have a toothbrush, the best thing is water. So here's some Channel 3 water. But like most of the waters that you buy in the supermarket, the problem is there's no fluoride in it. We are seeing a huge upsurge in decay in kids, teenagers, adults, senior adults, all because we're not really drinking from the tap. So if you have the choice, tap water is the way to go.
Okay, so what are people doing? I mean, we've energy drinks and the sugary kind of things?
Yeah, so let me just mention this. So kids are using a lot of energy drinks. I won't mention it by name, but this is full of sugar. Besides energy drinks, some kids are taking these vitamins. You have to be careful. A serving is 3 of these gummy bears or whatever they're called. And in fact, I couldn't even get them out of the bottle to show because they get so sticky. There's 8 grams of sugar in just 3 of these. So in addition to vitamins, you're getting sticky sugars, which are the worst. And in our age group, the biggest problem is dry mouth. And dry mouth can come from diabetes, it can be from high blood pressure medicine, it can be from chemotherapy, it can be from radiotherapy, things that are used to kill cancer. It will often, up in here, affect our saliva glands. There's two main ones here, two here. And so what people do is they take these lifesavers
and suck on them.
And they suck on them, or hard candy. It's fine to do that to bring saliva and promote it. The problem is if you do this all day, this will absolutely rot your teeth. They're being bathed in sugar the entire time. So we need to limit our sugars. And this happens to be, we mentioned the sports drinks, 22-year-old semi-professional golfer, a patient of mine, came in, also had braces, didn't clean very well. Not surprisingly, teenage guys aren't so great at cleaning around braces, flossing, that sort of thing. So you can see the decalcification. It was then decay. We had to take it out. That's the during, after the decay was taken out. Remember, he's 22.
Wow. And
there we are in the upper arch. We've restored that. It looks pretty terrific, but remember, those teeth have to last another 50 or 60 years. We didn't get to the lower arch. That's why you still see some of the decay in the back. That is somebody who did it from Gatorade. So what happens if during the time your teeth have turned color, they've misshapen, you've broken them down? That's when often people come to me for some cosmetic work. This is somebody who wanted the lowers reshaped. Lori, that was no braces involved. That was just reshaping and a little bonding on the bottom, and the uppers look beautiful. That's with some gum contouring and some porcelain veneers. So we can restore those teeth, but remember, in our those teeth hopefully last into our 80s or 90s. So we need to do all we can at our young age to prevent decay. So you can enjoy a little Halloween treat, but remember, as soon as you're done, brush your teeth, use some water, clean them off, so that we don't have that. The combination of the sugars plus the bacteria producing the acids. So we need to work on prevention, but know today that most dentists can then take care of it if there's a problem.
All right, great info. The best treat you can give yourself, a beautiful smile. And there's really no trick to it. Just follow Steve's advice. And for help, give him a call. The number's next.
See what Dr. Stephen Marsh can do for your smile by calling 440-461-1003 or visit www.clevelandsmiles.com. Next, can your senior drive safely? Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. Honest Abe has set a place for you at his Thanksgiving table. Saturday, November 18th, from 3:30 to 6 p.m. at Hale Farm and Village. Feast on classic Thanksgiving food while President Lincoln and other costumed interpreters share stories of our nation's past, along with music of the season. To gobble up more details, call 330-666-3711 or log on to www.wrhs.org.
Are you worried about your parents driving? Is it becoming dangerous? Communicating that concern, coupled with capturing their keys, can cause a family feud. Matt Gurwell is here to alert us to the warning signs and also share tips for ending driving with some dignity. Matt is a retired state trooper and the CEO of Keeping Us Safe, so welcome to the show again.
Thank you, Lori.
Now, we know we need to watch for the physical problems that might interfere with driving, maybe eyesight, physical ability, hearing, reaction time.
Sure.
But you say there's another important sign to look for.
Sure. So often I think we overlook the importance of memory and the importance memory plays in older drivers' safety. We focus on vision, and these things are all important: strength, flexibility, reaction time, different medications that the individual might be taking, different medical conditions, diabetes, neuropathy, etc. But so often I think we overlook the importance, like I said, of memory. And unfortunately, I can cite example after example after example of where memory has gotten an older driver into trouble, and actually has probably or has oftentimes ended up costing them their lives. I'd like to encourage folks, if you're getting lost, or if you've got a loved one that's getting lost in what has always otherwise been familiar places for them to drive, it probably is already time for them to retire from driving.
Well, how do you bring that conversation up? It's not easy.
It's not easy. There's some tricks that help lessen that pain, so to speak. One one is I encourage families to start those conversations early, even before, if possible, even before there is actually a problem with mom or dad's driving. Just open those doors to the driving conversation so that if and when the day does come where it's time to talk in a deeper level about retiring from driving, then those skids have already been greased, so to speak. You're already comfortable talking to mom about driving.
And how do you help out with that conversation?
Myself personally,
yeah, and
we have a program that it's called a self-assessment program, where myself or one of our representatives sits down and meets with the older driver in their home at the comfort of their kitchen table. I like to say, which is probably the most comfortable place in the world for them.
Just like our kitchen table.
Just like our kitchen table. And we go through a 3-hour session together, loaded with tabletop pen and paper type cognitive exercises, and then a in-depth learning conversation. We actually go out and do a driving exercise, assuming it's safe to do so. And then at the end, we help the older driver make the right decisions about their driving future. Now, I talk to a lot of family members, and they say, that sounds great, but my mom is not going to voluntarily give up driving. But 2/3 of the people we meet with, Lori, actually retire from driving as a result of this session, because it empowers them to be the decision maker. So they're involved in that process, as opposed to someone simply coming in and taking dad's keys or car away from him.
There's the dignity part. Putting your driving life permanently in park is a difficult decision, but you can help your parents on this rough road. For their safety and others, order the workbook from Keeping Us Safe or give them a call to arrange a personal visit. My thanks to Matt for joining us today.
Find out more by calling Keeping Us Safe at 877-907-8841 or click to www.keepingussafe.org. Next, easy to swallow advice. It's time to get up and go, an exercise segment on golden opportunities.
Hello everybody, I'm Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and we are here today to show you how to do a kneeling Superman. This is an excellent exercise, Lori, that's not only going to work the core, but also the lower back. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. All right, we're going to start this exercise on all fours. Here in the studio today, we have our exercise mats. You at home, go ahead and grab a spot on the floor. We're going to start with our hands about shoulder width apart. We also want our knees the same. Looking good. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to start with our right arm straight out in front, and we're simply going to try to get our left leg straight out behind us in the back here, okay? We're going to hold that for a 3 count, keep your balance, and then we're going to go ahead and we'll switch sides.
Okay.
So left arm straight out, right leg out, and we're going to hold it again for a 3 count. Okay, we're looking for 12 to 15 repetitions. How you feeling?
Oh, out of balance.
You got it, keep your balance. All right, everybody, 12 to 15 repetitions, 2 to 3 times a week, and now it's your turn to get up and go. There you go, perfect, all right.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 6105 Parkland Boulevard, Suite 140, Mayfield Heights, Ohio, 44124.
You know you need to eat a healthy diet, but you may not know that as you age, you may need to up the intake of some nutrients. Lisa Simperman has joined us in the UH Broadcast Center to list the vitamins that you may not get enough of no matter what you eat. Lisa is a clinical dietitian with University Hospital. So welcome back to our show.
Thanks.
Is it eating or is it aging that's the issue?
You know what, it's actually both. So as you mentioned, we know that our vitamin and mineral needs change as we age. B12 is a great example of this. Our ability to absorb B12 actually decreases as we age. Not only that, but it's harder for us to absorb B12 from food than supplements.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is a really important vitamin to think about incorporating into your supplement routine. B12 is important for normal red blood cell development and for normal neurological function. And interestingly, vegans particularly need to supplement B12 because B12 is found in animal products.
Oh, okay.
So that can be really important for them.
Thank goodness I'm not vegan. And there's another one on your list that we tend to lose as we get older, something called CoQ10.
Mm-hmm. So CoQ10 or coenzyme Q10 is similar to a vitamin. It's not classified as such because our bodies actually produce it, but our bodies produce less of it as we age. The other thing about CoQ10 is that it seems that statins are medications to lower blood cholesterol, seem to affect our body's production of CoQ10 as well. So for individuals who are taking those cholesterol-lowering medications, or getting older as we all are, CoQ10 may be an important nutrient to supplement. Our bodies use it, or it helps our bodies produce energy.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
So learning a lot today.
It's important.
And we hear about omega-3 fatty acids.
Yeah.
Why do we need a lot of that?
So omega-3 fatty acids are found in fatty fish like salmon, albacore tuna, herring, and mackerel, although I don't know too many people who eat those last two.
Yeah, me either.
So omega-3 fatty acids are anti-inflammatory. This can be really important for individuals with inflammatory diseases like arthritis. And in fact, most diseases have an inflammatory component. We know that Americans in general don't eat enough omega-3 fatty acids, so it's really smart for people to either incorporate these fatty fish into their dinner menu at least once or twice a week, or look for a supplement.
Okay. And there's two more on your list. One I've heard of, one I have not heard of. So let's start with the easy one, the one I've actually heard of, which is vitamin D.
Yep. Vitamin D has gotten a lot of press over the last, even 5 to 10 years. And there's actually a lot of debate over how much is actually optimal. What we do know is that individuals, particularly in Northeast Ohio, are often deficient in vitamin D. It's because our bodies use the sunlight to produce vitamin D, and we all know what happens in the winter, fall
it's kind of gray.
Yep. So vitamin D is important because it helps your body absorb calcium. And as we all know, calcium is important for healthy bones.
Right.
So this too is an important nutrient just to take stock of and see if you're getting enough.
Okay. And the other one I haven't heard of is vitamin K.
Yeah, so vitamin K is a fat-soluble vitamin just like vitamin D. It's important for blood clotting. Now, individuals who are on a blood-thinning medication called warfarin or Coumadin are often told that they can't eat foods containing vitamin K. Now, foods that contain vitamin K are leafy greens like broccoli or kale or Brussels sprouts, really nutritious foods that I want people to include in their diet. So the message here is that for individuals who are on a blood thinning medication, first and foremost, talk to your doctor, sit down with a dietitian. But the key here is to maintain a consistent intake of these high vitamin K foods. Not to eliminate them completely, but just simply not binge or on them, or again, eliminate them completely. Just kind of play the middle of the road.
All right, great information.
Yeah.
Aging can bring on issues, including our bodies nixing some nutrients. If you're low on any of these items on Lisa's list, act on her advice to improve your intake. My thanks to Lisa for joining us today.
Thanks.
Learn more by calling the Center for Lifelong Health at University Hospitals at 1-844-312-LIFE. That's 5433. Or visit their website, www.uhhospitals.org/lifelonghealth. Next, ensuring your IRA benefits your beneficiaries.
Hilltop Village Apartments is retirement living at its best. Residents enjoy a wide variety of activities and living services with all large first-floor apartments, private screened-in patios with beautiful park views, daily dining room meals, free laundry facilities, 24-hour staff, and so much more. Enjoy safe, comfortable independence at a very affordable price. Call today for a tour and learn how you can get your first month's rent free. Hilltop Village Apartments, retirement living at its best.
People work their entire lives building up their IRA to provide retirement security for themselves and hopefully leave something for their children. But most people spend little time planning how to pass their IRA on to their children or grandchildren. Here to discuss some of the most common mistakes with IRAs is my law partner, Mike Solomon.
Hello, Lori.
So let's go through a couple of the most common problems. The first problem is people forget to name a beneficiary.
And this is the most basic. And if you don't name a beneficiary, two bad things are going to happen. Number one, you've changed an IRA from a non-probate asset to a probate asset. It's going to have to pour through the estate. Number two, you may have to pay it out much faster than you'd want on your death. So, for example, if someone passed away prior to age 70.5, and they pass away, they don't name a beneficiary, it goes to the estate, has to pay out over no more than 5 years. If they had left it to a child, let's say a 50-year-old child, they could have taken out over 34 years, little bits, 3% a year approximately over 34 years. It would grow just tremendously, tax-deferred growth.
All right, so another problem is people fail to address a contingency if your primary beneficiary dies.
Now, this is a litigator's dream. So let's say you have an example where you leave your IRA to your 3 children. You pass away, they take your death certificate, they go to the bank, divide it into 3 inherited IRAs, fine. But let's say one of your children predeceases you. Who gets the rest of the money? Who gets that child's third? Does it go to that child's children, your grandchildren, or does it go to the surviving siblings? Well, there's no right or wrong answer. It depends on what the form says. So if the form's not clear, you could have squabbling between the grandchildren and the children who gets it. So it's important to fill it out correctly. Some forms are easy to fill out and make that an issue, address that issue, some aren't.
Okay, we don't have much time, but the last one is leaving the IRA to somebody who can't handle their money.
Right. So let's say you have a $500,000 IRA, you leave it to your 30-year-old grandchild, you pass away, that money's going to be gone in a day. They're going to suck it all out of the IRA. But if you name a specialized trust the beneficiary of the IRA, let's say make the child, that child's parent, that grandchild's parent, the trustee, they can take it out, in my example, over 54 years. 1/54 or a couple percent each year. It continues to grow tax deferred over decades. It's a great retirement tool.
All right, good advice. As you can see, there are plenty of opportunities to plan correctly with IRAs, but there's also a lot of mistakes people make. If you have any questions about it, please give Mike a call at the number coming up next.
Call Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.ssnplaw.com.
Thanks for joining us. Until next week, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
If you'd like to join our kitchen conversation, visit our website, www.goldenopportunities.tv. Like us on Facebook. Call us at 440-742-GO-TV or email us at kitchen@goldenopportunities.tv. We'd love to hear from you.
Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.